Don't you just hate those big trees? You know, you have to build yourself a pile of dirt, climb up there to cut them down. What a pain in the ass. If only there was an easier way to do this. Wait a second. There must be something in this mod pack. Dun, 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 dun. It's a jetpack. Yeah, it's a jetpack. It's part of Industrialcraft. It's one of my favorite fucking things ever about this mod. It goes pretty high. I think right about here is max. Oh, no, still going. Alright, here. Right here. That's about as high as you can go. It's got this thing called hover mode and normal mode, and hover mode will let you down gently. So I'm usually in hover mode. And you have to change the key binding, by the way, if you're going to play this. Because it was M, but that didn't work, so I changed it to something else. So it's called the electric jetpack. It's not that difficult to make. You need a couple of circuits, some lapis, but you need to go to the nether for glowstone, and that's kind of like the milestone, so to speak. So once you get to the nether and get some glowstone, then you can make a jetpack. The trick is, or rather the catch is, that you have to charge it. And if you run out of power in the middle of flying, you're gonna die. So you can charge it in a bat box or a generator. It's pretty easy. Just toss it in there, and you can see the power level is not charging. Okay, so last time we finished up with, I think we had a macerator and a generator in Industrialcraft. And since then, I've added a couple new machines. The electric furnace, it just smelts stuff like a normal furnace, except it uses power. And the extractor, which takes this rubber here out of rubber wood directly, or sticky resin directly. So no more tree tapping, and it's pretty essential. You absolutely need to build one of these if you want to use Industrialcraft, or else your troubles of finding rubber will continue forever. Alright, so what have I been doing? I added a new form of power here. I added solar panels. And solar panels are really awesome, and I think I usually use solar panels for just about everything in Industrialcraft because they're renewable sources of power. They work only during the day. They don't give a lot of power, but they give more than the windmill, they give more than the water mill. And they're pretty much my staple of power in Industrialcraft. So right here I have 5 solar panels connected with ultra low current cable, I think they're called. They're made out of tin. Into a bat box, and a bat box is just energy storage. It will continue storing energy as long as energy is going into it. And then from the bat box it's connected into my machines with copper cable. Now this ultra low current cable only handles up to, like, I think it's 5 EU, which is, EU is the quanta, to use a very special term, or the denomination of power in Industrialcraft. Just like Buildcraft uses megajoules, Industrialcraft uses EU, and it only handles this cable only handles a certain amount. I think 5 EU per packet. You don't have to worry about it burning out if you're connecting it to solar panels, but if I wanted to connect a bat box to my machines with this cable, it would probably explode because the bat box outputs 32 EU. I'm not really sure if it would explode or not, but I don't think it would work very well. So you have to be very careful with that. And as you go up in terms of power and the outputs, you'll be using different cables for low voltage, medium voltage, and high voltage. But we'll get to that eventually. So I got 5 solar panels connected to the bat box, and that's providing pretty much all the power I need right now. I will need more eventually as my machines, as I upgrade the machines. For instance, you can upgrade the electric furnace to an induction furnace, which works a lot faster. You can upgrade to a rotary macerator, which works a lot faster, etc., etc. But the nice thing about solar panels is that they're compactable. So here I have 1 solar panel, and I made 5 of these. They're a little bit expensive, that's why I don't start out with them. But you need a macerator to macerate coal down in the coal dust, and you need a generator and 2 circuits for each solar panel. So they're a little bit expensive, but once you get them up and running, they're absolutely worth it. But obviously, if you had a lot of solar panels, it would be a space problem, right? Because say if I had 30 solar panels, they'd be all over this roof. But you can compact them down into what are called arrays. Now, here's a low voltage solar array. For every 8 solar panels, you can make 1 solar array. So 8 of these blocks turn into 1 big block, or well, the block is exactly the same size as this, but it produces 8 times the power of each one of these solar panels. So you can compact that down to low voltage, and 8 of those become 1 medium voltage, and 8 of those become 1 high voltage. And 1 high voltage solar array is pretty much like all the power you're ever going to need, unless you start doing like really ridiculous stuff like teleporters, terraformers. I think actually a high voltage you can run a terraformer. But yeah, for the most part, these solar panels are all, that's pretty much everything you need in terms of power once you get to a high voltage solar panel. So I mentioned that there was an alternative to Industrialcraft in the previous episode. Personally, I like using this Industrialcraft stuff for my machines, mostly because of the solar panels. It gives me good renewable energy. I don't have to worry about a whole bunch of stuff, and it's good enough for me. But there are alternatives, and some people would say that thermal expansion is a better mod overall. The catch is with thermal expansion machines is you need to use engines to power them, the same engines that you would use with Buildcraft. So your basic one is your Stirling engine, which is a steam engine, and you put charcoal in there and it works and it powers your machines. I also like using the peat-fired engine, which is actually part of the forestry mod, but it works because it also uses Buildcraft power. So you need an engine to power all these things, whereas with Industrialcraft I can basically use the solar panels and get energy for free. But there are a lot of cool machines that give you additional functionality that Industrialcraft doesn't have. Now you have your basic machines like the pulverizer, and the pulverizer is the same as the macerator. It takes ore and it'll output 2 pulverized whatever, in this case it'll be copper, the same as the macerator outputs dust. And then you can take that and you put it in your powered furnace and you get 2 ingots. You know, pretty much the same. The only difference is using engines to power it. But it has a lot of other cool machines, like for instance this, the induction smelter. And this will actually give you a chance to get 3 ingots of ore rather than 2 ingots of ore that you would get with Industrialcraft. And how does that work? Well, basically what you do is you put a piece of sand here, and let me just turn this off, a piece of sand here and a piece of ore here, and then you use that in the smelter. And it will automatically skip the pulverizing step, and it will go straight to the ingots. And you'll get, let me just turn this on, and you'll get 2 copper ingots, which is really cool. But you also have a chance of getting what's called rich slag, and I think it's a 5% chance every time you do this. But you also need sand, so this is like the drawback to it. But you can get rich slag. Now, if you do get rich slag, you can put it in like this with your ore, and let me turn it back on, and instead of getting 2 ingots you're going to get 3, just like that. And it also outputs slag. Now slag, not the rich slag kind, but the normal slag, you can use that to create rock wool, which is wool that won't burn. So I don't know how useful that is, but it's an additional byproduct. So this is pretty cool. You generally want to do this with high value ores like gold, for instance. So you get 3 gold instead of 2 gold. It is a little bit of a process, but this is one advantage that thermal expansion has over Industrialcraft. You will get more ore using slag and rich slag. Alright, so that's a quick overview of thermal expansion, at least the basic machines. I'm probably going to continue mostly with Industrialcraft for my basic machinery needs, but there will be a time when I have to use thermal expansion for certain things. Thermal expansion is nice, especially the engines, because they work with the quarry from Buildcraft. You can use an energy link to use Industrialcraft power and transmute that, not transmute, but convert that into Buildcraft power, but it's really not as efficient as using a lot of the engines in thermal expansion and in Buildcraft to power the quarries. And there are also a couple other things that you get later in thermal expansion that are very useful. Number one being the portable tank. Portable tank, which is here. And it's exactly what it sounds like. Actually, I can make one right now. Do I have the hardened glass? It should be... God damn it. I can't find anything. Help. Oh, by the way, I went to the Nether. Holy shit. When you see the Nether in this mod, I think I almost shit my pants like 3 or 4 times. There it is. It is totally different. Okay, so I need a tin ingot. Tin. Here's my 1 tin ingot, really. And I can make one of these. Is that it? No. Might have been this. Yeah. Alright, portable tank. And you can fill it up with whatever you want. And you can take a crescent wrench, silver ingot, and some iron. Silver ingot and some iron. Silver ingot. I'm terrible remembering this shit. Holy. I'm probably gonna forget again. Watch. There we go. And then you actually can't just click on it. You have to shift and then right click, I think. And so you pick it up and the water is still in the tank. So it's portable. Very cool. There's some other stuff like liquiducts. Liquiducts are kind of like Buildcraft pipes, the Buildcraft waterproof pipes for moving water around, except you don't need an engine to do it, and it's virtually instant. And it is so nice for moving stuff around. And what else we got? We got a couple other really cool things. There's like 3 or 4 other machines that I haven't found to be totally useful. But then there's also magmatic engines that work with lava to power stuff. That's very useful, and you can use liquiducts to move the magmatic move the lava into the engines. One more really cool thing about thermal expansion: they have this thing called a tesseract. A tesseract is literally a shape. I think it's a cube within a cube of some kind. And there's 3 different kinds. There's the item tesseract, the liquid tesseract, and the energy tesseract. Now these things are kind of like the phased pipes that Buildcraft used to have, but I'm not sure if the phased pipes work anymore. The last mod I played in, they didn't actually work. But basically they allow you to transmit items, liquid, or energy across large distances and without piping. So they basically teleport it from point A to point B. And one really cool thing about them is they also work between the Nether and the overworld. And I haven't tried this in this particular pack, but in the last mod pack I played, I was able to transfer. Fuck, I can't fucking speak. I was able to transport lava from the Nether into the overworld using tesseracts. So those are really cool and very useful, especially for logistics, moving things from point A to point B. So that's a good overview of thermal expansion. I will be using it in the future, but for now I'm mostly going to stick with my Industrialcraft 2 power. What in the fuck is this? It's like a bush growing in a pit of lava? Ooh. Tin ore berry? There's berries that are ore? I am so confused. Oh, something's on fire. What happens if I pick this up? Where'd it go? Tin ore berry bush. Okay. Alright, I just figured something out. Every time I go by this tree, I would get like these random cave spiders spawning in the overworld trying to attack me. And I'm like, huh. And I couldn't figure it out. Ah, there it goes. Fuck you. Get out of here. I couldn't figure it out for a while. And then I realized, hey, there's spider webs in that tree. So, I'm pretty sure they're spawning out of this great wood tree. And the wood doesn't appear to be good for anything. There it is. Besides, like, burning it in a generator. So, yeah, we're gonna do this. Yeah. And hopefully that will solve our spider problems. What is on fire? The air is on fire? The air is on fire. Well, I guess shit happens, right? Anyway, this is a good opportunity to talk about a couple other things I figured out. Why isn't that? There we go. I love this jetpack. Good opportunity to talk about some other things I figured out. In the mini-map system, there is something called waypoints. And as you can see, I have a couple of waypoints that I've set up. And I can set one up. By the way, the default hotkeys are equals sign and the one next to equal sign, like this thing. So you can set a new waypoint. So like Dolly Parton, don't ask. And then it creates like this little thing that goes up to the sky. I have one for base. And you can see them pretty far away. Like you can see desert over there. But one thing I'm not sure I like about this system is this. I can click on one, I can teleport automatically to it. And you can see I'm 250 meters away from where I was. Oh, that's a beehive, by the way. We're going to do bees one of these episodes when I get around to it. But I'm not really sure I like this. It seems a little bit too easy. So I think I'm going to try to refrain from using it as much as possible. Okay, teleporting probably stopped the fire from burning the rest of the tree. But yeah. So we'll see if this solves my spider problem. Found it. There is a spider spawner here. It was right below where the tree was. So I don't know if all of these trees have similar spawners, but let's see what's in the chest. Alright, I can't open the chest. Something's above it. Damn, I wanted to keep this. Shit. I have an idea. There we go. What was in there? Ooh, a music disc. That looks like a standard dungeon one. Enchanted book. And a claw. I don't know what these are for. By the way, if you hover over something and you press U, it'll bring up all the recipes that it's involved with. Claw makes claw, item claw. Okay, you can make some force stuff. I don't know what that's for, but yeah. It's part of the force mod. I don't know, that's kind of cool. Oh, look at the texture for that. It's got like a creeper face on it. It's so cool. Alright, so we're going to round out the episode with some more thermal expansion stuff. Now, I want a way to connect all these machines through piping to give them all energy from a single engine, or say in the future have several banks of machinery at different places being run off, you know, one or several engines from a central location. So what we need is some sort of piping system to send power to all these machines. Now you can do that with the traditional Buildcraft conductive pipes, but they're a little bit crap, to be honest. And if you're transporting over distances, then they're just terrible, because they have energy loss per block. But what we can use is this thing called an energy conduit. And the energy conduit has a 5% power loss regardless of what distance it travels. So if it travels 100 blocks, it's 95%. If it travels 10 blocks, it's 95%. And they're also very, very cool. They won't overload a machine. They won't have too little power, too much power. They're just all around pretty fucking awesome. So what we're going to need to do, first of all, is get two machines. We need the magma crucible, and we need the liquid transposer. Neither of these things is too difficult to make. They're pretty easy, in fact. And then what we're going to need the stuff for the basic conduit frame, which is called an energy conduit. And then we make it into a redstone energy conduit. And this takes electrum ingots and hardened glass. The hardened glass is just pulverized obsidian and lead ingots in the induction smelter. No problem, really. The electrum ingot is just pulverized gold and pulverized silver, the dusts, and then you combine the two dusts in your crafting menu, and that makes the electrum blend, which is this, and you just smelt it into bars. No problem. So I got some glass, hardened glass that is, and I got the ingots, so we're going to make a whole bunch of these conduits. And I got 48, that's more than enough, but I'll have extra. And once you do that, you have to melt down redstone, literally. And I need some peat. I got some peat here. And what you do, you just put the redstone in the magma crucible and it starts melting down. Now I need to explain these things on the right side here. This is the monitoring of power usage. So right now it's not doing anything because it's actually not on. This is what controls whether the machine is on or not. Right now the default setting is this thing here. It's the control status enabled and signal required low. That means it requires a redstone signal to work. I think this means if you have a redstone signal attached to it and the signal is off, meaning it's unpowered, that means it's, I think that's what turns it on. But if you have this selected, signal required high, I think it needs a powered redstone signal to turn it on. But we really don't want to do that, so we're just going to leave it to disabled. Basically, that's what I do all the time. I just set all my machines to disabled status in order for it to just work, right? But it doesn't actually appear to be working. Do I not have enough energy? Yeah, you need more energy. It tends to buffer up. So try just to set all your machines to disabled. If you're wondering why they're not working, that's probably the problem. Okay, now the configuration. This is important. If I recall correctly, the orange thing means that that is the output, the liquid output from this magma crucible. In other words, when the redstone melts, if this is set to orange, it will transfer it into the machine to the right of it. And I am correct. It's actually going right into this machine because this is set to blue, and blue means input, and it's directional. So if I put orange up top right here, and I put a machine on top of this one, it'll send it to the machine on top of that one that can accept the input. So that took me a while to figure out. And if you don't want it to output anything, you can just do that and click it off and it won't go anywhere. You can click all of them off, for instance, and then it will just stay in the machine. But I actually want it to go into the machine next to it, so I'm going to leave it on orange. And the machine next to it is called a liquid transposer. And that actually transposes liquids into objects. In this case, into the energy conduit. You also use it to fill tesseracts and a whole bunch of other stuff. But right now I have to wait until this fills up, or at least gets a lot more in it. And I think I have to do this. I'm not quite sure which setting is correct, because there's one setting that will send stuff into this, and there's one setting that will just keep it in the storage here. So I need to figure out which one's which and how long this is going to take, so I have to wait a little bit. Okay, so I think I have this figured out. I think this setting should, yes, okay. The default setting, the blue setting here, should make this liquid redstone go into these energy conduits. And as you can see, it's creating the redstone energy conduits. So I might have enough to do all the piping I actually want. I'm not really sure. It should be enough. I wonder what else I can make with these things. Oh, okay. Looks like a couple of interesting recipes. That's one for the modular power suits, and I don't know what that's for. It's probably for the... Ah, that's also for modular power suits. Okay, so the only thing this is really good for is these redstone energy conduits, for the most part. Not really all that much else. But anyway, this should be enough, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that should be enough. So let me take this out and stop that. So now what we need to do is just connect all these things. Like that. Now they're all connected, and they're all going to take power from the same source now. So I can connect as many engines as I want to these machines, and it's going to feed equally through all the machines. Excellent, just like that. And throw my peat in there. And where's my lever? Okay. Turn that on, and now it should be powering all these machines. It's actually going to fill up their buffers. I think it does like one at a time. I can't really remember. That's being filled up. They're all being filled up at the same time, it looks like. Yeah, okay, just very slowly. Excellent. So, that's how you use the energy conduits, and that's pretty much your next step when you're dealing with thermal expansion. You want to get them all connected up to an engine. But these engines aren't very efficient, the peat ones, nor the Stirling engines or anything like that. So our next job is to get some more efficient engines. And what I'm going to be doing next episode is starting a buildcraft quarry. And a quarry is an automatic mining device that mines for you. That's also the vent sound that I'm on. Anyway, the quarry will mine for you automatically, and it's really cool. People say it's a little bit too easy, but it's also very convenient. It's a lot of fun to set up and get everything going. So to power that quarry, I'm going to use Buildcraft power. Traditionally, you're going to use the combustion engines or the steam engines, but I'm going to use something a little bit different, and that thing I will also use to power these machines. So I guess I will see you guys next time. I think that's about it for this episode, and I think I'll also upgrade my power supply from Batbox to an MFE next time. So see you guys then. This is drakhl signing off.